Welcome back to a brand new YouTube video. Today I'm going to be showing you the version 2 of my brand new indicator that is out right now. We have got live A+ signals indicated by this indicator with a checklist in the bottom right corner. It's also going to mark out all SMTs and all buy side and sell side levels for you automatically. Okay, so basically you're not going to need to do much when you actually get onto the chart, as this indicator is going to do quite a lot for you. So I'm going to break down the difference between the version 1 and the version 2, what we've added and what we've improved. I only had the version 1 released for about 2 weeks and we're already updating it because we've had a lot of feedback. We're trying to make the indicator as, best as possible for every single person. And if you haven't seen my first video where I did actually release this indicator, then it is the video I uploaded last. There will be a link in the descriptions of that so you can compare the two. So let's get straight into this first trade example here. With this indicator, there is a lot of settings, okay? So we've got two indicators that both go hand in hand together, and you can get access to both of these, and they literally need to be together for them to work, okay? Because the indicator code works off this one, and this one works off this one, okay? So they kind of work together to figure out which are the best inversions, and then in the end, you're gonna get something that looks like this. Okay, so if you break it down from the start of this trade example here, okay, so I was live on Discord, I live stream every single day. I was sitting there with my students, we were on stream, and we were looking for long positions down here, because we'd already taken all the sell side liquidity to the left. Okay, so we'd already swept all this sell side, and we were looking for long positions to take us back up into this range up here. So if I'll play a couple of candles through, you're going to see how the indicator actually works live. So in live time, it's going to mark out all of the liquidity levels, it's going to mark out SMTs, and then it's also going to rank the inversion based on, the criteria that you've selected. So when we do get an inversion, it's going to rank that automatically to tell you if it's a C setup, an A setup, or a B setup, etc. What you're going to see is something like this, okay? So we've just taken sell side liquidity, and here we get our first inversion fair value gap. Okay, so this bearish gap has been disrespected and inversed. You can see that the criteria has marked this out as an A setup. And as you can see in live time, once this candle inverses and the indicator has, figured out that it's inversed, it will actually give you this inversion fair value gap logo, which basically means it's an A+ setup or whatever it says down here. So A setup or A+. And it's saying that this is a good entry to enter into a long position. Okay, so this is now where we would enter a long position. If you're targeting a fixed, risk to reward, then you could do a fixed 3R or a fixed 2R or whatever personally you decide to trade. So we personally did a fixed 3 risk to reward here. And this is where we took our position. Okay, and as you can see, we come straight up and there we get our full take profit with literally zero drawdown. And the indicator worked this out completely on itself for us. So now I've shown you a trade example of how the actual inversion fair value gap indicator works. I'm going to show you just a couple of settings and a couple of the features that we've actually added into the version 2. As you can see, we're on V2 right now. And I'm just going to basically go through all of the criteria and basically explain what each individual thing means. So, of course, you've got your colours of your buy side, your sell side, pretty basic. The detection settings you don't need to touch. We have got a built-in macro indicator. Okay, so if you like to trade just during the macros, you can just simply check these boxes and the macro timeframes are going to be inputted on the chart. Checklist position is where you would like your IFVG checklist. So for me, I have it in the bottom right corner. There's loads of options and I have it on the smallest setting so it keeps the chart clean. Here we've got our comparison symbol. So this is how the indicator finds SMTs on itself. So of course we're trading NASDAQ right now, so we want to be comparing to ES. And that will work out SMTs based off all the pivot points, and it will automatically mark them down. Here you've got an equal highs and lows feature, which you can turn on. So if you want to use equal highs and lows in your trading, then you can simply check this box and the indicator will mark out all of the equal highs and lows that you can then use to target for your TPs or simply wait for that liquidity to be taken. And here you've got your custom table colors. So you can actually edit the color of the checklist if you would like, and here's all the options you can choose. Okay, so that is the first indicator. That is the basics of the internal levels indicator. So that's going to mark out your SMTs, your buy side levels, your inversion fair value gap checklist is all on that indicator. The second one is this one. Okay, now this one's got a lot more detail. Again, general, we just want to leave this as it is. And the first feature we've got on this one is order blocks. Okay, and it also is going to be able to mark out all PD arrays based on what you want. Okay, so you can put on order blocks if you check this. So it's going to mark out all order blocks for you based on what color you choose. You can have bullish and bearish fair value gaps marked out for you. You can have tested bearish and bullish fair value gaps. So if we have actually come back down and tapped into those gaps, then it's going to be a different colour if you would like. And again, you can choose all the colours here. Now time frame, this is basically going to show you all of the gaps on that time frame. So if you want just 5-minute gaps or just 15-minute gaps or just hourly gaps to be marked out, then you can check these whatever. We've got all different time frames going down to the 30-second, all the way up to the 4-hour and the daily and the weekly. So any fair value gap or any order block can be chosen here. Again, we've got kill zones. So the previous indicator's got the macros. This indicator has got the session indicators. So it will be able to tell you when Asian is, when London is, the New York AM, New York lunch, and New York PM sessions. You have also got your daily open, your weekly open, and your monthly open. So you can have your previous day high and low selected for you if you select this. Or if you want your weekly high and low, you can select this. Again, all of this is completely up to your preference. All of these settings are included, and you can have a mess around and put on whatever you want to see. For me personally, I don't like my chart covered in loads of lines, so I basically have a lot of my stuff turned off. But if I do want to use it, then I can just quickly flick it on, mark out the high and low manually, and then turn it back off. Okay, because I don't like a lot of things all over my screen. It gets kind of confusing. But the option's there, so I know a lot of you guys do like to have a lot of things on the screen. So we're trying to make it suitable for every single trader. You know, whether you like your chart messy, whether you like it clean, then everything will be on here available. So if you would like the higher time frame labels on, or a higher time frame candle if you're trading the power 3 on the hourly or the 4-hour or the daily power 3 potentially, then you can select that here. So higher time frame 1, you can choose what time frame you would like, same for 2, 3 and 4 and etc. And if you check these boxes, you're actually going to get a higher time frame candle that is displayed on the chart, so you can see that power of 3 if that is the strategy that you trade. And coming down further into the settings, we have got an auto markout fair value gap feature, which I've shown you just, and we've also got a volume imbalance as well. So if you want to trade volume imbalances or you want to be aware of them, then you can just select this box, choose the color of them. It's going to mark out all volume imbalances that haven't been tested or filled. Okay, now at the bottom here we have got the IFVG settings. So this is going to be the main one that I actually do mess around with. This is just going to be doing with the signals. So look back is how many candles it's actually going to look back and mark out those signals for. So 5,000, that is a lot of candles. Here you can put your daily bias in. So every single day you can actually select your bias if you would like. So it only shows bullish inversions and only alerts you with bullish inversions or bearish, for example. Or you can leave it as neutral and it's going to do both. The inversion fair value label size is basically how big the signal looks on the screen. So basically how big is this label going to be? As you can see, mine's pretty small, but it's still quite obvious when you're watching it on the charts. So that's perfect for me. IFVG entry type, you would like to put this on close. So that basically means whenever that candle closes, it's going to mark out the indicator signal and then tell you it's a valid entry. If you leave it on wick, that basically means when the candle is actually breaking through and it hasn't closed yet, then it's going to give you the signal. So you're going to be able to get slightly earlier entries on wick, but sometimes it does actually become invalid because the candle doesn't close. Okay, candles before inversion is self-explanatory. How many candles did it take to actually break this gap? I have 7 max because I don't want to see, you know, us break through with hardly any momentum. I want a quick reversal, a quick break through the gap. So that's why I have 7. Sometimes I change it to 10 depending on what type of day we're on. If it's a no news Monday, I might up it to 10 because price action's a bit slower. But normally 7 to 10 is a good range. And here we've got a required buy side or sell side sweep that is essential for the strategy. So that basically means you have to have a liquidity sweep in the inversion fair value gap to make it valid. Okay, and this one you can see we clearly do. We sweep out this low, we get an SMT and we invert. Okay, so here the checklist is marking out that we have got a liquidity sweep. Use secret source. Again, we cannot tell you what is in there, but just make sure that that's ticked. That's basically going to be what I think needs to be in an inversion fair value gap, but obviously not displayed. Because my entire strategy is basically hidden behind this button. So I would 100% recommend using the secret source. And that is pretty much everything that we have got on both indicators. So I've gone through all of the individual features there, okay, because version 1 only got released 2 weeks ago, like I said, and it was already going well. But we did have some feedback from you guys that did get the indicator pretty early on, and we've updated it, of course, to make it better. So there's a lot more detail in this indicator based on previous versions. Okay, so it's going to be the same backbone, so the indicator has got the same backbone just with a couple of updates added on to make it smoother, make it a lot more customizable, and make it more effective. And overall, both indicators now both use heat maps, like I said earlier in the video. So both indicators actually use heat maps and the order book to decide where there is a lot of volume and when a lot of orders have been filled. Okay, so previously we were just using it based on patterns and using the checklist. So whenever the checklist got filled, it would basically just mark out that as a signal every single time. As long as the indicator detected all of these things, it would just mark it out no matter what. Whereas now we actually have order books and the heat map behind it. So this is backed by orders. Okay, so that is pretty much everything in the version 2 of this brand new indicator. If you would like to get this for yourself, we have got a 3-day trial finally released. So we have actually released a 3-day trial for anybody to use. That is going to be in the description below. All you've got to do is press the link. It's going to take you to claim your free trial, so you can actually use the indicator for 3 days, try it out to test all of the settings, and I'm sure you will enjoy it and end up getting it permanently for yourself. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you have enjoyed, and if you are enjoying this indicator, and I will catch you all on the next video.